To all my followers, listeners, everybody who's viewed the show over the last year, thank you so much. All the people who work for us and with us, and to make the show what it is, and people who have helped out in many ways. So I just want to say thank you for an incredible year last year to help me heal, to help me get my voice back and be the comeback queen that I wanted to be and became. And so, that was the year of the comeback. And we are no longer in the year of the comeback. We are in the year of being unstoppable. And that's what I wanted to talk about. I wanted to talk about, what does this year mean to you? And what are you going to do with this year? I think a lot of people left 2020 with a lot of trauma, a lot of fear in the unknown. And there were many people who took 2021 on as, the year to do, and I know that I was one of those people. Entrepreneurs do that. That's what we do. We stay in activity, we stay in action, even when it's tough. And I have to tell you that there were many times last year where I did not want to get out of bed, where I cried. But the show, my team, the people I work with every day were the reason I get up. So you have to have a purpose. And, I really found my purpose towards the end of the year. I knew I had to, serve people. And I think that's what's really important. When you're in a servant-driven role, when you're a servant-driven leader, entrepreneur, you serve the people. And who are your people? And I think this is the challenge today as we go through some things with habits, routines, and what are we going to do in the next 12 months, in the next 50 some episodes. What are we going to be doing? And we're really going to be 10xing our lives. We're really going to be unstoppable in our habits and routines. We're going to be unstoppable in our daily activities and what we do. And when people look at you, they're going to go, what the hell is she doing? What is that person doing every day, where they show up and they're just spot on? And that doesn't mean in the background you're not having moments. Because let's be real, your life is going to hit you hard, and you need to have a vision, a goal, and a purpose so that you stay on task, even when it goes effing haywire. I have to be honest, at the end of 2021, it was a tornado. Like, we had 3 weeks straight of shit in our house, family issues. And I made mistakes. I was disappointed in myself. Hell, I was smoking cigarettes for a couple of weeks. I'm going to own it. I want you all to know that not everybody's got it together all the damn time, but the difference is the people show up. And, even when you're in the storm, that tornado and the shit show, you still show up because you have a purpose and you have a dream and you have goals and you're driven. So motivation is bullshit. And so I'm not here to motivate you. And if you come on this show and you're like, oh, you need to motivate me, or if you go to work and you're like, well, they don't motivate me, or she or he doesn't motivate me, or this doesn't motivate me, that's not being an entrepreneur. You need to be inspired. And that's what we're trying to do, is inspire you. But you need to find motivation every day. And that takes a drive. It takes your why. It takes your purpose. And make your purpose your passion. Turn your pain into your purpose. So when you have these tragedies and shit storms and all the things, that's what you do to 10x your life. You take something that someone else would sit in it and cry over it and not take an action after. It's okay to cry, but we don't sit there. You take it and you move with it. You use it as your driver. So let's talk about your environment. Setting up your environment is super important. I was going through a practice with a mentor of mine, and I thought about it, and I'm like, what do I do? What do I do to keep my environment healthy for me? What makes me stay in this zone? And my environment is calm. My environment is peaceful. I have music playing all the time, even though not right now. Every other moment of the day, there is music playing. Calm music. When I work out, it's rough music. Maybe it's a little bit of rock and roll, maybe whatever, but it's to get me moving and to keep me in the flow. Flowers everywhere in my apartment. And when I travel, if I'm staying at a house, a lot of the times I'll bring flowers. I always send people flowers. Flowers are my thing. Candles are everywhere. I love to have a fresh, clean smelling home. Clean. My house is clean. It's organized. And that's what's important. My environment is set up for my success. So if you're in an environment where it's messy and you don't work well when it's messy, I mean, some people can be messy and they're very productive. That's fine. But if your environment needs to be peaceful and it's chaos, you need to adjust your environment, and you need to take the time to do this. With your time, what do you spend the most time on? My time is spent organizing, being in a routine. I wake up, I do the same things every morning. I get up, I brush my teeth, I take my temperature to regulate my woman's cycle, because that's how I do it now. And then I get on the treadmill for 20 to 30 minutes, take my shake, take my supplements. I get on a meeting for 45 minutes to an hour every single morning, go to yoga. Y'all, that is my schedule. That's before I'm tackling work, because that's what feeds me. While I'm on my treadmill, I'm also feeding myself with Abraham Hicks, motivationals, whatever it is to keep me going. I say my prayers while I'm on the treadmill. I'm doing affirmations. These are things that you keep building up for. What is your time spent on? And then it's work and being productive. What do you put your energy in? What do you put your money in? What is organizing for you? The structure. What are your thoughts? What do you think about all day? Writing all this down is so important, because when you write it down, there's a common theme. Self-development, fitness. This is for me. Self-development, fitness, success, money, prayers, meditation, growth, spiritual growth, setting goals. And then we go into deeper categories with that. What do those mean? And so for this year, we're going to be bringing on high-level guests and people who are going to make you think. And last year we had incredible guests, and we brought on so many amazing colleagues and friends, healers and authors. And this is the year where we really challenge and level up our thinking, our emotional intelligence, our spiritual thoughts. What are we really thinking about every day? What are we consuming ourselves with? What are you consuming yourself with every day? And I don't just mean eating, drinking. I mean, what are you listening to every day? What are you reading? What are you hearing? What are you speaking in your mind and out to the universe? And that's got to shift. I had such a weird year last year where I was going through 3 to 4 major life changes, moving twice, issues with my children, a lot of changes, and trying to make sure their mental health was okay. And then their physical health was okay. Making sure that I was taking care of myself and taking care of everyone in my life, making sure I was providing, making sure I was showing up, and making sure that every day I took an action to grow myself. And that's really what kept me in my zone and connecting with my God, with my higher power, the universe, whatever you want to call it. For me, it's God. And every day doing those things, practicing French, these are the things I did to keep me on task, but also to keep me sane. And so, as we grow into this year, we are going into the next level. We are going not just one level up, like 10 levels up. We're talking about good to incredible. How do you 10x yourself? How do you 10x your life, your income? How do you do that? Well, you have to change. You have to rewire your brain and your thoughts and your thinking patterns. And we're going to help you do that this year. And I'm excited for the guests that we're going to bring on. And I'm excited to challenge not only you, but myself as we work through this program, as we become even more unstoppable, as we bust through these walls together, that we come out of 2022 a completely higher version of yourself in all ways. And that's the goal. Somebody's at my door, and that's scary. But as we go, we look back on some of the things that we lost, and not in sadness, but the ending of a season, maybe. I know for me, I ended a relationship of 17 years, but is it really gone? No, I'll always have my friend. We co-parent. I look at that as an opportunity to continue our friendship in a different way. and support him in his dreams and goals as a friend and as the father of my children. And I never knew that was going to be a possibility until recently. And now I can see that. And I can be very proud of that for my children, because we do that for our children. We do things so our kids can heal and know that there's better ways to handle things. And they don't have to come out of trauma. They can come out as a healed product of something as others heal. And so that's a really big goal of mine. And being proud of his business and being proud of the things he's going to do, and to support his happiness in his future ventures with love and life. And I'm excited for him, and I'm excited for me. And, I'm ready to love. I took over 1.5 years of time to be alone and to heal what I needed to heal. I'm proud of that. I'm not saying I'm going out ready to date, but I'm ready to give my heart again. And I'm ready to accept love. And that's something I wasn't ready to do for a long time. I might have thought it when you feel down and lonely, but no, the truth is, when you're truly ready, you'll know. And so this is a year of new experiences and love and happiness. But I don't need somebody to do that. I have to be happy. And that's where I wanted to be at the end of 2021. And I can truly say that I'm happy. And I want all of you to look at that and say, am I happy? And if not, you need to make yourself happy. This isn't for anyone else to do. You have to be happy with you. You have to find love within you. And we're going to work through that this year. We're going to love ourselves 10 times harder and be proud of ourselves and forgive ourselves. Shit, it's called grit and grace for a reason. Give yourself some grace. Laugh at yourself. Let's not forget Betty White. We lost her at the very end, but she went out with a bang. And when I think of her, I think of grace. She talked a lot about not taking yourself too seriously. And she made all of us laugh. All of us laugh at one point of our lives. That woman was a very big part of so many people's life. It was the end of an age when she left. And I'm from Minnesota, my Golden Girl. That represented Minnesota and the Golden Girls. I absolutely loved it. But I've watched every episode of the Golden Girls. And so now our final Golden Girl has left. She left the building. And that just means that it's time for a shift. It's time for us to bring the laughs and bring the joy back. Because screw this. There's no more of this crazy crap that's going on in the world. Shut it off. That's what they want you to do. They want you to be consumed with the news. They want you to be consumed with the negativity. And here's the deal. Shut it off. Quit living in fear. Quit living in fear. They'll probably censor me for this show. But quit living in fear and live your damn freaking life, because you only get this one, at least in this vessel. Okay? So as we move forward, I want to thank all of you for being a part of this amazing journey that we've already had in a whole freaking year. Like, I can't even believe that. A whole freaking year. And now we get to have this next adventure together with incredible people that, again, are going to challenge you and grow you. So my challenge to you tonight, or today, whenever you're watching this, is get it down, write it down. What are you surrounding yourself with? What are you going to do to 10x your life? What's your environment like? What does success mean to you? What do you visualize every day? What are you putting into your body, your mind, your mouth? Truly, what do you say out of that mouth? What is in your head every day? Do you have good habits and routines? Do you need to fix them? And this isn't, the one thing I do hate about New Year's is the resolutions are BS. They last like 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and then everyone's back on their old shit. And it's like, no, this is the year. It's not about a resolution. It's about a freaking change. You're going to commit to changing, and you're going to do it daily. You're not going to go start CrossFit tomorrow and you haven't done anything for 25 years. What you're going to do is you're going to get up and take a walk. Okay? Start walking, start drinking more water. Right there, your body and your composition is going to start changing. Might not be instant, but you're already starting to change. This is how you change, y'all. You do small things over time. The Compound Effect, Darren Hardy. It's a simple book. It's easy, but it's a basic principle. Small things done over time create massive results. So I want you to imagine where you will be next year on this day. Where will you be next year on this day? And I want to do a visualization with you. So if you were happy at the end of 2021, great, and you felt good and you got things done, awesome. But if you're like, no, I wasn't happy, it doesn't matter where you were. We're starting new. I was happy, but now I'm like, if that's what I can do in a year, the way I had that year, I mean, I lost my hair last year. I had great moments. I had some life-changing experiences. I had more laughs than ever. I had more cries than ever. I had the best and worst year all in one. And this is the year where it is going to be epic. This is the year of my empire. This is the year to be unstoppable. So how am I going to do that? Every single freaking day, I'm going to show up like it's my best day. I'm going to get dressed. I'm going to look my best. Now, there are going to be days where that might not happen, but that's the goal every day. So what are you going to do to make changes? I make my bed every day. Every single day. I don't miss a day. What are you going to do that might seem very small to keep you on track? Maybe you commit to taking a walk every day. Maybe it's simply going up and down the stairs. Maybe you're like, screw this. I'm fit. I'm athletic. I'm going to train for a triathlon or whatever. Fine. But what are you going to do to get there every single day that you're not going to veer from? And you make that commitment and you write that shit down. Write it down. And here's the other crazy thing. Tell people. Now, don't tell people everything because we don't tell people before it happens. But if you have a big goal, like, hey, I'm going to do a triathlon, then tell people because they're going to hold your ass accountable because the day that you're not doing it, trust me, when I was doing 75 hearts, we were like, oh, did you do that today? Did she miss her photo? Listen, you might think people aren't watching. They're watching because they're watching to see if you don't show up, but there's a lot of people watching to see if you do. Because if you can do it, they can do it. Right? Inspire someone today. Inspire someone this year. This is the year to inspire someone. That doesn't mean you have to inspire thousands. It means if you inspire one person this year, you did your effing job. And you know what? That is what fills us up. I had a conversation today, and we're going to do an exercise next week about this. I have tears because it was really hard. I felt empty. I had a great year, and I ended the year great, but there was something that happened on Christmas. It wasn't an actual event. It was how I felt after I had all my family over. We did all this stuff, and I should have been grateful. I should have been so grateful. And my perspective of it was, I feel so effing empty. And it was nobody's fault. I wasn't mad at anybody. I just was exhausted because I give people things because I want to give. And in the background, I'm always like, but why can't they give me anything? And here was the thought process. It wasn't about gifts. It was because I don't feel loved. And I don't feel loved because I wasn't loving myself. And I cry about that because that's a sad thing to me. Like, I thought I loved myself, but there were parts of myself that I wasn't loving and I wasn't owning. And I had to walk through a process and I had to own this shit today. And in a 45-minute moment, I had the biggest perspective changes and shifts and realizations of why I felt that way. And it was no one's fault. But I had to own my shit. And also know that it's okay. to not always be fucking happy. And it's okay not always to be perfect. And it's okay to be a shit show. And it's okay to have bad days. Because on the other side of that is great days, showing up, being awesome, being productive, giving back, giving love, getting love, everything. But I was only trying to put this one person out there. And in the end, I felt so unfulfilled because I wasn't even being the person I was supposed to be. And that shook me today in a great way. And this is what being unstoppable is about. Are you ready to feel a little bit of pain? Maybe a lot. Are you ready to cry? Are you ready to say, F this, I'm going to do this? I don't care if you're a hot mess express. I don't care, because we can do it together. But we have to go through these processes and go, there's days I'm a straight up B. I'm a bitch sometimes. And sometimes I'm the nicest person in the world. It's okay. Because I lived in a world for years where it wasn't okay. It wasn't okay to be upset. It wasn't okay to maybe get down. It wasn't okay to be selfish sometimes. It wasn't okay to feel shame. It wasn't okay to do any of that. I had to be all these things. And then in the background, I'm like, but why doesn't anyone love me? And that's not true, but how can they love me when I'm not being me? So strip it down. There's going to be days where you don't get to show up the way you wanted to, but you show up. That's what that means. And today was a freaking incredible day. And that's why I'm coming on here to say, we're going to walk through this process next week. We're going to do this. I have an incredible guest, Satori Mateo, who's coming on, an incredible mentor who's connected to me by one of my other mentors, Candace Barr, and also was Tony Robbins' mentor. And he's just an incredible man. I'm excited to bring him on the show next week. And so I really encourage you to get on that episode and download the Lux Media app, because censorship is real, y'all, and they are censoring us. And I don't want any censored material. I want you to hear me raw and real. I want our guests to be able to be unfiltered and not censored. And I want to do that. And that's where you can do that, is the Lux TV Media app. Download that on your mobile device and go show some love on Instagram and support us and click the like, love, and share. We love that. And I just want to say thank you again for the incredible year with you all. And now it's time to be unstoppable and crush everything we went out to crush, our goals, our dreams, and no looking back. Rip the rearview mirror off. You're not going that way.